Hi guys. Water please. How are you? I am excited. Sorry we're starting a couple of minutes late. I had a few technical difficulties. I feel like I need to start 5 minutes early on hitting the live button because my internet always acts so hinky every time we get started. So here we are. So from now on I'm going to post, we're going to start at 1:10, somewhere around there. Who knows, right? All right, you guys, today is all about the feelings kit and emotions. So I definitely want us to start by doing some oiling up. So right now I am starting with a little bit of eucalyptus radiata. It's just for no other reason than I like how it smells. How's that for, I love how it smells. Oh my goodness, I love the smell of eucalyptus. It is one of my favorite aromas. I guess I say that about a lot of things too. Hi guys. So, woo, I got my eucalyptus radiata on. I am also going to grab a little brain power. I use brain power pretty much every single time that I teach because I want to make sure I remember all the things that I studied while we were getting ready. So I have my brain power on when I'm studying. I have my brain power when I'm making PowerPoints and all my notes, and then I put that brain power on and I let that aroma help to stimulate the memory of everything that I learned. I don't know if that's the real science behind it, but it seems to help for me. I'm hoping that you guys cannot hear my fan in the background. If it's too loud, let me know you hear the background noise and I'll turn it down. But I can't keep my window open because then you guys can't see me. It's super sunny and bright out, so I have to shut that and I don't get my breeze going on, and I need a little bit of wind. You guys know how that goes, right? All right, so since you guys are all popping in here real quick, I just want to say, first of all, thank you. Thank you for coming on. Thank you for listening. Thank you for being there. Thank you for partnering with everything that we do. I appreciate you guys so much. I also want to say, if you found this link, if somebody shared it with you, if you found it a year from now, please make sure that if you decide you want to get some of these great oils and play with them, that you get a hold of the person that shared the link with you. Whether you found it on their Facebook page or whether they sent it directly to you, get back with them. They're the ones that are going to help you on your oily journey and answer all of your questions and all that good stuff. So make sure that you do that, and also let you know we got all kinds of amazing stuff coming up. So I'm going to, at the end, tell you all the stuff that we have coming up, a bunch of the Facebook Live classes and topics. If there's classes and topics that you really would like me to come and do as a Facebook Live, let me know in this thread and I will check it out later and see if there's some that we can put on for the year, because we have pretty much everything booked through January, so I might be able to put it on for February, March, or let you know that it's coming up too. So make sure you do that. Let me know what you're wanting, because I want to teach what you guys want. I don't want to be wasting my time or your time, right? So I want to start with our beautiful feelings kit. If you are not familiar with this, the emotional side of the oils really confused me when I first got in. I was introduced and I knew nothing about any of this. Like, this was all completely foreign. So I don't know if you're one of those that it's all new to you as well. But when I first started hearing about it and I heard about things like forgiveness in a bottle, I was like, what is this weird new age woo-woo stuff? And it really, truthfully, caused a lot of issues for me. I am a Christian and I believe the Word of God, like front page all the way to that last page, everything in between, that whole six days of creation thing. I believe that hook, line, and sinker. And because of my beliefs, anything that's outside of that can mess with my head. And when I first seen that forgiveness in a bottle, I'm like, ooh, I don't know. I don't trust that. I'm not comfortable with that. And it really, it took me a long time. As a matter of fact, I got to the rank of platinum before I started sharing and talking about the emotional side of the oils, because it really confused me how it worked. I knew that forgiveness comes from Father. It does not come out of a bottle, and I never wanted to do anything that would lead anybody astray. That my heart for people is huge. If you don't know anything else about me, know that. My heart for people is really big, and I never wanted to do or say anything that would lead people astray or confuse them. So it was, it took a long time, and God really had to do a lot of work in me so that I could understand how it works, and that when something happens to us, we're just going to go with anger for a minute. When you get angry and you get mad, there's a physiological response to that. It's not just all up in your head, right? So your stomach can get tight in a knot, your hands can get sweaty, your heart is racing, and you're mad, and you can feel it absolutely everywhere. And that anger has a vibration. It has a frequency. Like, you can even tell from across the room when somebody is angry, or when somebody is grieving, or somebody is sad, or something. You can feel it from across the room. And it is the vibration. It is the frequency of that emotion that we feel. The same is true when somebody is really happy and they just got this joy. You know those people that they walk into the room and they light up the room, right? There is just excitement when they're around. And all of those things that we feel are a frequency, they're a vibration. And some of those vibrations get into our cells and they settle. And it's those where we replay those stories over and over and over in our mind. Hang on, I gotta close my window. I hear the trash guy outside. Sorry about that. Oh, I should have shut it to begin with, right? So those vibrations, those frequencies, they settle. And so like anger, when we are angry and we're playing it over and over and we're replaying that story and we're telling the next person how angry we were and how wronged we were, that vibration can settle in your liver. And what happens over time is it can actually cause sickness and disease because it sits there. And then even worse is that it can be passed down to the next generation because it is written into those cells because it stays there. And this is the whole, the sins of the father are passed down to the next generation, it keeps passing down. It is what is written on the RNA. So your DNA is the story of you. It is the handwritten story of who you are. It is what God intended for you to be, right? It's handwritten, unique, special to you. And your RNA is where the action actually happens. And what we do, the things that we're involved in, the foods that we eat, the environment that we live in, it can affect the RNA. And the RNA is the action that actually happens. And that's where those emotions settle. Now, for the most part, the explanation for all my fellow Christians that are out there that the emotional side really messed with you, I'm actually going to post a link where I did a video probably 4 years ago. It's been a long time ago. And I went over some of the things that God really showed me and why He created essential oils. He created roses so that when we breathe in those roses, those oils, that aroma that we would breathe in, the actual flower of rose, right? When we would breathe it in, it would go in and it would release some of that pent-up garbage, those vibrations. It would naturally do that. But see, we don't live outside anymore. We're not surrounded by those beautiful aromas that God intended for us to smell. There's lots of artificial things. There's, even if you live in the city, you walk outside, it is not roses that you smell. And I'm telling you right now, right? So we don't get that same constant release that was supposed to happen. And even if you're on here and you're like, oh, I am not a Christian. I cannot believe she's talking about Christian things. Listen, it doesn't matter whether you're a Christian or whether you're not a Christian. We still grew up with every green thing. We were still surrounded by sunlight. We were surrounded by flowers. We were surrounded by those beautiful aromas. That beautiful smell when you smell the grass being cut. I love fresh cut grass, and we smell that beautiful aroma. That aroma that you smell, those parts and pieces, those are called coumarins, and they're just one of the many different constituents that are found in plants that we just don't get anymore. So by using essential oils, it's able to release some of that stuff that we were supposed to have happen every day when you went outside. We were supposed to happen, exactly, stop and smell the roses. We were supposed to have happen on a regular basis so that that garbage didn't have to stay there. Because even when you're little, there's some of this stuff, the traumas that we have, are things that happened when we were really, really little. And we just didn't understand it. And my favorite explanation of this is a mom's on the phone with a friend. The little 1-year-old, 2-year-old is sitting on the floor. He's playing, having a good old time. Life is good. And he's listening to his mom talk. And what he hears his mom say is, oh, that would have been wonderful. Oh, if only Bobby was a girl. In his little head, in his mind, goes, oh, my mom didn't want me, she wanted a girl. And it sets this inferiority. Now, this is just a quick example. Now, on the other end of the phone, if he could have heard the rest of the conversation, because a lot of times the damage that we have is perceived damage. Okay? So on the other end of the phone, she was talking to her girlfriend whose daughter just outgrew clothes, and she's got this huge box of clothes that she would give her if only she had a little girl. So it wasn't truly that mama wanted a girl. That wasn't it. It was a perceived damage. But perceived damage, any of those emotions, it still sets. It still goes there. And the inferiority that frustration that I can only do so much, those walls that we get up against, those things that you find yourself in a cycle and you do the same thing over and over and over. You're like, why am I still doing this? Or you get in the same types of relationships. You know, you're in a relationship with somebody who's super, super needy and they suck all the life out of you, and you go through that and you break up with them and you get out on your own again and you find yourself in the same kind of relationship. Those are those emotions that are drawing us back. They're self-fulfilling prophecies because those vibrations are still working in your body. And the most important thing I want you to understand is that we have the power to release that. We have the power to let that go, and we don't even have to remember the where, the why, and the how. I think so often we think when we talk about emotional release that we have to remember the trauma, we have to walk through the trauma, we have to talk about the trauma, and we have to go through all these things. But the truth is, like with my kids when they were growing up, I have 4 kids, right? We've been in Young Living since 2007. So they were younger, obviously, when we got into Young Living, and we did every single night. One of them got a raindrop. So this was not raindrops like the whole big the raindrops class that we do. This was our quickie raindrops, and what we would do is each night of the week, a Monday, David would get some raindrops. Tuesday, Alicia did. Cassie got it on Wednesday. Thursday was Brianna. Friday was Brian. Saturday was myself, and on Sunday we all rested. And so we would run in and we would tuck our kids in, and on David's feet he would get all the raindrops oils put on, Vitaflex on there, then I'd throw it on his little back from his tailbone up to his neck, put those raindrops on, and then the next night I would do the next kid. So these were 5-minute quickies. I just wanted to make sure that their little body, their immune system had everything they needed. But in addition to that, what we did on a regular basis was the feelings kit. So I learned from Kathy Farmer years and years ago, even before I really understood how those emotions set and what they do, that the frequency, the vibration of essential oils, they move through us even if the oils don't touch them. So when you open a bottle, so this is a big bottle of release, right? When you open that bottle and you breathe that in, that aroma, that frequency, that vibration moves into every single cell in my body, even though I never put any on my hand. And so what we did with our kids from when they were little, because she really explained, we have this sphere of influence, right? This all around us. We have a personal bubble. And that personal bubble, you can call it aura, you can call it whatever you want, but it is a bubble that we have around us. And we have an inner bubble where people can get really close, and then we have a further out bubble. And science is actually showing us that it goes feet, like far, like 20, 30, 40 feet. That's where you feel somebody behind you and you can just sense it. That's because they're getting into your bubble, that vibration. So because we knew that, what I would do with my kids is once a week, so 4 times a month, right? Once a week, after they were asleep, I would go back into my kids' rooms, and over their blanket, so they're all cuddled, they're asleep, they have no idea what's going on, I would take the oils that come in the feelings kit, and I would drop them on all of their energy centers, just drop them. So I'm like this far above their little body, just dropping those little oils, because it helps. But stuff happens. Teenagers can be mean to each other. They can say mean things. They can say, I never want to be your friends. They can go through all kinds of stuff. And I just wanted to be able to encourage my kids that that not be a thing. When the girls were fighting with some of their friends or something was going on, they'd go to sleep that night, and I would come in and I would love on them, and I would pray over them, and I would use oils and anoint them with oils. It is the scripture that you pray and anoint with oils. I'm just saying, the word of God, our words are a vibration. He spoke the world into existence. Vibrations, frequency, it's all about the same thing. So I would take those and just put it over their body, all 6 oils. I didn't wait till some trauma happened. I just did it on a regular basis so that when stuff happens, it didn't set and stay there forever. Like, getting into Young Living doesn't mean nothing bad is ever going to happen to you again, right? Doesn't mean you're never going to get a cold, doesn't mean you're never going to get sick, life still happens. And the same thing, if you're a Christian, becoming a Christian doesn't mean everything's hunky-dory and you fart rainbows, right? That's not how that works at all. Stuff happens. It's what are you going to do with it? This is where we talk about having water, so your body has what it needs to be able to build. This is nutrients. Well, essential oils and using large amounts of them, it's a part of the same thing, right? So that's something we did all the time, and this is something you can do for you. You don't have to relive the trauma. You can take the oils that are in that kit and you can use them like with no other knowledge. Right now we just talked, you can hang up and you can just open your oils and you can start using them on a regular basis, because all of our oils have different vibrations and frequencies. That's why sometimes you're going to be drawn to one oil and you're like, oh my gosh, I just can't get enough. And then later you're like, I could care less if I have it. Right? It's because you're drawn to it, just like you are different foods. Why when you're sick and you have a flu, you don't want to eat anything. We have innate intelligence that God put in us to make good decisions. But most of us, there's so many chemicals, so much garbage going on that we can't make a good decision because we can't hear our own inner voice. We can't hear that what God has put inside us telling us stuff. I'm just saying, we all have that inner voice and we need to learn to listen to it. So I'm going to go over some of the oils. I'm also going to tell you on my website when you go listen. So ShannonHudsonYL.com is my website. Shannon Hudson's my name. YL is my game.com. And you can go under PowerPoints. You can even just go to my little search bar and type in emotions and it will pull up the video that I'm going to talk about. And under the video is a PowerPoint, so that if you're somebody, you need to be able to see it and read it and know dot, 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 what do I do? It's already in there. It's a PowerPoint that you guys are welcome to share, tweak, change, and go tell everybody else, because I think people need to know this. I think we skip out on this part of it because we're not really sure how it works. So first thing, if you're going to do this with an adult, and you're gonna like intentionally, you're gonna do some emotional release, because we all got garbage built up. So you're gonna do it with somebody else. The first thing I recommend is get in a quiet, relaxing place. So don't have it where the kids are barking and the TV is on. You know, just get a little quiet. And when I say quiet, I mean turn off the radio. So many people, they're doing massage and they're doing emotional release and they have music going on in the background. But sometimes, at least once in a while, we need to shut everything else out and just get quiet so that we can hear our own self. So turn that music off. You can completely close, because remember, oils go through your bubble, right? They're going to go through your bubble, so it doesn't have to be put on topically. They can just be dropped on the top of your head. You guys see me do that a lot with the oils, where I just take them and I'm shaking it on there, right? It's making changes the second I open the bottle, because the minute you can smell it, that aromatic influence, that vibration is getting all up in your goodness, right? So when you're doing an emotional release on somebody, realize that emotional release is happening to you at the same time. That's why it's so intimate doing massage. Like, I am not a massage, that's not my thing, that's not my gifting. Somebody that can sit and touch for long periods of time, that is a gift of love. There is healing in that all by itself. So you want to make sure that you can give people the oils to put on themselves. You can put it on them. You can put it over clothes, any way that you want to do it. And for you, if all you wanted to do for you was to take those 6 oils and put them on the top of your head, put them right here, put them here on your neck, put them right here on your belly button. This is above your belly button, right? Then put them on your belly button, and then you can put those between your legs. That's your root, right? So you can put those in all those places. You can just slap them on your feet. And if you did that twice a day, which if you listen to Gary's old audio that he had on it, if you're very least, take those oils, put those on twice a day, every day for 30 days and see what happens. At the end of 30 days, replay it and do it again. See what's happening. See the changes. Most people, when they do it, they don't go, oh my gosh, I remember XYZ. Because the goal would be that it just lets it go. And it doesn't mean that you'll forget what happened, but there won't be that same emotional trauma. Some of us have been through some awful, awful things. And if I can release that so that the trauma's not there anymore, then it's not going to sit, it's not going to pass it down. And in any particular order, yeah, you could take them and put them in any order, but I am going to talk about the order for you, and it's also on that PowerPoint, so you can see how you're going to do that. So the first oil that we're going to talk about right now is Harmony. Now Harmony, get this, Harmony is a blend of rose, I'm looking at my cheat sheet, lavender, ylang ylang, frankincense, orange, geranium, hyssop, Spanish sage, black spruce, coriander, bergamot, lemon, jasmine, Roman chamomile, palmarosa, and sandalwood. Now, this is a beautiful blend. This is about bringing that harmony, right? Letting everything get back into harmony so that we're not in that chaotic place anymore. That is harmony. It's amazing for, even if you weren't doing it in the emotional set, it's amazing for what it can do in your home. So harmony is an oil that you could put in your diffuser and have it diffusing when the kids are getting out of school, when there's normally tension, getting ready for school, maybe it's super stressful all the time, right? You can put a little harmony in there. Maybe your kids bicker when you travel. You can put harmony in your diffuser in the car so that they're smelling it in that situation, because you want to bring that back down so that there's not so much, right? So you could put that oil on your ears. It's amazing what happens when you take essential oils and you put them on your ear. If you don't already have a book that tells you all about essential oils and what you can do with them, I highly recommend that you get one. Right now, my cheat sheet that I have right here in front of me, this is one of the oil books that I'm using. This one right here, so you guys can check that out, right? And it has an entire section, y'all, on emotions and how to use the oils with emotions. So it doesn't have to be from memory. You can just look it up. This is all of chapter 17, and it goes over the how and the why, and then it goes over all kinds of different oils that you can use to help with that. So the oils that are in our feelings kit are not the only oils that work with emotions. Every single oil works with emotions. So in that harmony, what did I just read off? Well, I read rose. We all know how high in a vibration that is, but it also has lavender. And that's a basic oil that you get in your kit, y'all. So you can take that lavender and you can breathe that in and you can do some of the same things. It's got frankincense in there. It's got orange. Orange is a $10 oil. So don't think that because you don't have the exact right set that you can't do this. You can start playing with it immediately. Then there's inner child. I don't know how many of you guys have experienced inner child before, but inner child it's a beautiful, yummy, just delicious aroma. It's got orange and tangerine, ylang-ylang, sandalwood. It's got jasmine, lemongrass, what else? Spruce, bergamot, neroli, all in here. And what this does is it helps remind you of who you thought you could be when you were a little kid. When everything was okay, when you believed that you could be an astronaut and a fireman or a firewoman or president, and all of those different things is amazing. Like, it's amazing to remember who you thought you could be, because we believe all of the lies that have been spoke over us all these years. Oh, you could never do that. Oh, you're not smart enough. Oh, you don't have enough money. Oh, and all those things. We believe in it buries who we wanted to be, who we were created to be, who we were uniquely written to be. And this helps to release some of that. It also helps to release the damage, the emotional stuff that can happen to kids, right? The misuse, the abuse, the mean things that can be said. It helps to release that. And you can take that inner child and you can put that right here. You can take it and put it on both of your temples. You can take that and put it right over the heart itself. It's just an amazing addition that you can add to anything. And you can take it and put it right around your belly button, right around that old umbilical cord, and rub that all in. Inner child is amazing. Gary used to tell us, and I think because it just got us into that position, just a little inner child, and put it on the roof of your mouth and like you're sucking your thumb and getting you back into that place and just thinking about, who did I want to be when I was a little kid? What did I believe my future was going to be? Too often we have accepted that we're going to be nothing, or that the way life is, it just is what it is. It doesn't have to be that way. Like, we get to create that. And then present time. You guys, I say this all the time. The only place something amazing can happen to you is right now in present time. Right now in this moment. I mean, good things can happen in the future, but that's not where the action is. This is where the action is right now in this moment. I know so many people that talk about, they talk about their past like it was the best that ever happened. And they're still living in their past, and they're remembering their big moments that happened in the past, and they're still talking about, their good old days and that kind of thing. And present time brings you back to here. It increases your ability to focus on present moments, because that's where that stuff happens. So you can take that present time, and this is another one right on the top of the head. You can take that and put it right here on your temples. You can take it and put it directly over your thyroid right here. This is one of those areas. Over your heart. You can put that present time anywhere that you want. You can also, if you're going to get together with somebody that's one of those that it's all about the before and how great the world was, you can just have that in your diffuser. You can rub that on you so that when you're hugging them and you're getting into their environment, it helps to release some of that. So when you have those people that talk about their why they can't story, because they already did, or I really want to do XYZ, but they've got all these buts. Their but is, this is how it's always happened in my past, so I know if I try to do this, it's not going to work either. I don't care what your past is. I don't care what has happened to you in your past. I know who you could be. I know what could happen in your life, right? So that present time, just a really powerful one that you can use that for. Trying to keep up with your questions too. Trigger physical response. Yes, they can. Your emotions trigger physical response, and sometimes as you're doing stuff, it can give a little emotion up front too. All right, so forgiveness is the next one I want to talk about. Forgiveness. Should have put those in. Do you guys see the bug that keeps coming in my face? I'm not crazy when I'm doing this. I just want you to know that. So forgiveness is a blend of melissa, geranium, frankincense, sandalwood, coriander, angelica, lavender, bergamot, lemon, ylang-ylang, helichrysum. I already said that one, didn't I? No, I didn't. Roman chamomile, palmarosa, and rose. Super high frequency essential oil. So what I want you to know when it comes to forgiveness is not about you going and getting forgiveness from somebody. It's not about any action that you do with another person. Forgiveness is something that you do in here. Forgiving yourself. As a Christian, I do something wrong, I go to Father, I say, Father God, forgive me, and I tell him what I did, and you know what he does? He goes, I'm done. And then the next day when I'm feeling all bad about it and I'm crying, I'm like, Lord, just forgive me. And he's going, forgive you for what? Because see, he already forgot it. It's gone. That is the word. He threw it away. It's gone. There's no memory. But I have the memory. I still feel the brokenhearted. I'm still feeling the grief. Grief happens in your lungs. I'm still feeling the grief of it. Right? So forgiveness is something that you use and you apply and you breathe in as you're forgiving yourself for allowing yourself to get put in that position. Forgiving yourself for any role that you had in it. Forgiving yourself for letting that trauma affect you. If somebody does something mean to, if somebody's out gossiping and they're talking to this person, that person, and they're saying, look, this is what Shannon did, and they're doing all that garbage, them doing that is on them. I don't have to let that affect any cell in my body. I don't have to. I have to have forgiveness that I'm letting what they're doing affect me. So this is not about me saying, oh, it's okay, I don't care what they did, they can do it to me over and over again. That's not what it is. There's so much that can happen when you realize that you're the one with the power. Nobody else has the power to emotionally harm me unless I give them that power. Right? So I get to choose how I'm going to respond. Again, it doesn't mean bad things aren't going to happen. But when I start replaying that story, oh my gosh, I can't believe, and I start re-saying what happened, I need to stop immediately and I need to start speaking life over my body. I need to speak, Father God, thank you. Thank you for helping me to forgive them. Thank you for letting all of this go. Thank you for replacing it with your light, with your love, with your energy. That's what the forgiveness is about, so that it doesn't sit and set inside your cells. That is forgiveness. It helps to let go of those negative emotions so that I can talk about the situation and not be emotionally traumatized when I talk about it. So I can use what happened for good. So that same thing, somebody gossiping and saying horrible stuff about me, it's not like I'm gonna do something silly and go and share my heart with that same person that hurt me. It doesn't mean I redo that. It means that happened, I learned something, and now if somebody else goes through that trauma, I can be, girl, I have been there. I understand the brokenheartedness. I understand how it felt like you got kicked in the gut. I've been there. So I can use my experience for good without it breaking me down again. Does that make sense? Because stuff is going to happen. That grief and stuff that we talked about. When my parents, when my parents passed away, I really felt that I should have been able to fix them. Apparently I need some oils. And I had that grief, and that grief just sat in my lungs. I had a hard time breathing. So many things that happened after all of that, because with everything I do, I felt if I've helped so many people, I should have been able to help them. And I had so much remorse and so much grief. And that's the type of thing that we have to be able to let go, instead of saying, oh, why? Why did it happen? Why couldn't I? Why? You're never going to have why? You're never going to know why. That's what you have to know, right? So we have to learn to be able to, I had to forgive myself for feeling like I'm God. Right? Because I don't get to make those choices. I am just Shannon. I'm just here to do what he has called me to do. And to everything there is a season. And that season, it was my mom's time to pass. And it didn't matter what I would have convinced her to do. It was on her and her choices, her decisions, right? So learning that's where that forgiveness comes, because I had so much of that built up, and it can cause sickness and disease. I fully believe a big part of having leukemia was because of the emotional trauma that I put myself through, losing my mom and dad back to back, and everything that went down with that. I really honestly do. So the next oil I want to talk about is release, because release is letting that stuff get out. So do I not have release here? Of course I have release. Oh, it's the big bottle. Here we go. Got a big old bottle of release. So, release is a blend of rose, ylang ylang, lavender, geranium, sandalwood, grapefruit, tangerine, spearmint lemon, blue cypress, divana, one of my favorites, you guys. I'm so glad that's a single now. That's a whole nother class. Lime, ocotea, jasmine, and blue tansy. So, release... that's all that you have been holding on, go, right? So all that stuff that sets in our liver, all of that stuff that we hold on, that grief that we hold on to, those memories that we place over and over, it helps to release those and let them go. So that is your release. It's powerful. You can just take release if you wanted to, and because you know where your stuff is going on sometimes, right? So for me, I put it over the liver, I put it over my chest, because it helps with that with my lungs. So just, you can do that. You can also throw your harmony back on there, and you can do release and forgiveness, and release and forgiveness, and release and forgiveness throughout the day as it happens. As the day goes on and a story comes up and you need to let that go, or you feel yourself getting angry over a situation again, I'm putting a little release on over that emotion I just had going on. You need to be able to let that stuff be able to do it. So it's really common for people when you use release, they have a little bit of an emotional response. And the first time I seen that, when God was really showing me that the oils touch emotions, a friend of ours had a real emotional release and was angry. So it wasn't crying, it was anger. You could feel the anger that she had going on, and slamming things around and all of that. And it was amazing to me. And had I known, I would have given her, I gave her peace and calming joy and ran. I'm like, I don't know what's wrong with you. And I just kind of bailed, because I didn't understand the emotional side of it. But knowing now what I know, I would have given her some release. I would have given her some joy. I would have given her some forgiveness, so that she could get on the other side of that. And that release that she had was doing the raindrops. I don't know if you guys know how emotionally impactful the raindrop treatment is. But if you were to take each of the oils that are in the raindrops and look at them in one of the books under all of the different emotions, because they list, agitation, anger, like every emotion is in the book. So you can look that up, and you'll find that every emotion that is listed in the book, one of the oils, at least in the raindrops, hits on those emotions. So it is very emotional. Part of the why people feel so after they get a raindrops is because it has released a lot of that pent up stuff that we don't even remember. We don't remember how angry or how insecure we felt when we were at work, or how insecure in the playground, or how embarrassed we were over something that happened when we were a teenager, all of those things that we couldn't handle at the time, our body just takes that and puts it in one of the different organs. It just places it there. So by doing the different oils, you're going to see a lot of that release happen, and sometimes you won't know why. That's part of, people start feeling so good when they start playing with the oils, because it starts letting a lot of that go, and that's just even our basic oil kit. So if you don't even have an oil kit and you sign up today for $160 to $300, depending on which oil kit you decide to get started on, you get to pick which diffuser you want and get those oils in the air. They will start releasing a lot of that stuff without even knowing which what. So you can use all the oils in the kit. I tell people all the time, when you get your oil kit, just open those oils up, every single oil that's in the kit, and put them on your body, breathe them in, put them in your diffuser, and do that 3 times a day, every single day, 3 times a day, every single day, because it gets them in the habit of doing what I'm telling you to do consciously, which is when the emotion comes up, grab the oil, use the oil, say a phrase that helps you. One of the things I like when I use release is I lovingly and willingly release everything that no longer serves me. Right? Because something might have been there because I needed that to be a part of who I was in that time. But now I don't need that. I lovingly and willingly release it, because everything that's ever happened created you to be who you are today. But I don't have to hold on to it all. So I don't know who I learned that from. Probably Kathy Farmer or 1,000 different people. I don't want to steal somebody's saying, but that's one of the things that I do. So the oil that we're looking at now is our Valor. You guys, who's in love with Valor? Valor, Valor. Valor is courage. So after you have, you got the harmony going, you got the inner child going, you've got the release happening, you've got the forgiveness, then you have Valor. Valor gets us back to a place of courage and strength. It is one that I believe you should put on your feet and over your heart and on the top of your head every single day for the rest of your life. Every single day for the rest of your life. Because Valor is the one that says, I'm capable. I am strong enough. I am more than enough. And it gets us doing the things that we might not feel on our own we're capable of doing. But you were created for greatness. You have inside you the ability to touch and change lives. To be that person when you walk in the room, everybody else glams onto you. They want to be near you because you make other people feel good by just being you. That whole circle, that bubble, your bubble is going to rub into other people's bubble. I want my bubble to be strong. I want my bubble to bring joy to other people. I want to be that person that other people go, oh, I just want to be around her, right? Valor is a part of that. It helps you step into that courage. I also want to talk about a couple oils that are not in the kit, but ones that I think are amazing. So one of the questions you guys asked was, what is the order of oils? And I'm going to have you listen to that other video, or look at my PowerPoint, or you know what, in the feelings kit it has a what order, because I want to go down here and talk about a couple of my other, for lack of a better word, honorable mentions. And one is abundance. Abundance essential oil is one of the oils you guys probably hear me talk about all the time, because abundance is the frequency and the vibration of abundance in every area. So it is it's this bubble that we have raising up, so it draws in other people. It draws in an abundance of friends, right? An abundance of time. We speak the words over us all the time. Oh, I just don't have enough time. Oh, I just don't have the time to do that. I can't. I need an abundance of time. So you want to be in a place of more than enough. That's what abundance is. More than enough. I have more than enough time to do all the things that I need to do, all the things I want to do, and a lot of the things that I just really would enjoy, just the fun, so we can enjoy it, right? So I can get done my shoulds and my musts and all that different things. That is an abundance of time, and we have to speak that over our life. We have to speak, I've got more than enough time. If you don't want to do something, never use the phrase, I don't have time, because that is creating a vibration of there's not enough time to get it done. And you will feel like you're always behind. Oh, I just can't get anything done. I did everything today, didn't get anything done, don't have enough time, not enough time, and that. And you see that, and you're speaking it, you're speaking it, you're speaking it, and everything about you gets that chaotic energy. But if instead you'll switch it, and you'll say, I got more than enough time. If you don't want to do something somebody wants you to do, say, yeah, right now I'm choosing not to do that. Right now I'm not going to be doing that. So there's a strength in saying, I'm not going to, right? So speaking that, I have an abundance of time, more than enough. I have an abundance of friends. I was just talking to my son and he said, as adults, how do you create friendships? Like, where do you, when the kids were little, we did homeschool group, we were in all the different sports, all the different things at church, and you get all these friendships. But as adults, where do we create that? Well, the first thing we do is start speaking that into an existence. We speak it out there. You think about, what is that friendship you are looking for? What do you want in a friendship? You're looking for somebody that lifts you up, somebody that's the same mindset as you, somebody that is going forward instead of just replaying how miserable their life is, right? Because we become like the people we hang around. So speaking that, an abundance of strong, healthy friendships, an abundance of couple friends where Brian likes them and I like them, right? An abundance an abundance of business builders, an abundance of whatever your field is, right? So it's getting that mindset, your words, and your actions all lining up. So think about what you're saying and how can you reword it to be more powerful. Same thing with finances. I spoke this over my kids all the time when they were growing up. Never say, I can't afford it. I can't afford it. Oh, I don't have money for that. Do you realize how unempowering that is? No, you can say, yeah, we're choosing not to buy that right now. Okay, so you're still getting the same message across, but one is a choice. I'm not going to do that because let's face it, if you really wanted to, you can always figure out a way to do what you've got to do, right? So it's not that that it doesn't exist. It's that you're going to create a world where you get to choose where your money goes. Because if you speak it over all the time that I don't have enough, that there isn't enough money, that I'm broke, we just can't afford that, and you tell your kids we can't afford it, you're speaking a future for them where poverty is a part of their life. I want to speak abundance over them. I want to speak more than enough. Our words can change things. They can change your thought. They can change the vibration of what you're drawing to you. That's abundance, my friend. So get you some. I've had people go, I just don't like the smell of abundance. No, but do you like the frequency and vibration of what it is? Because sometimes you not liking the smell is because that vibration is here and you're still living down here in that particular area. And so when you smell it, it's uncomfortable, right? It's stepping out of your comfort zone and you got to raise your vibration. And that oil helps to raise it, helps to get it there. So if you don't like the aroma, that's okay. Put it on your feet. Put it on your feet. Listen to some of my videos where I talk about what abundance did for us and how we put it on our feet. The next one is acceptance. Listen, there are some things that are just going to happen. And we have to accept it. It's a part of this world. There are things that we have to accept, and it's accepting it regardless of other situations, right? So I have leukemia right now. Chronic lymphocyte leukemia. It sucks. It is what it is. It is. Someday, my cells will be perfectly perfect in every way. Someday, my body will have all the energy that it needs, and I know that. But thinking about everything that I've lost and everything that I can't do does not fix the problem. Acceptance comes in and says, you know what? I accept you for who you are. I accept you where you are today. I don't expect anything other than who you are and all the greatness that God has created you. And the same is true of me. I accept me for who I am. We are right now in the middle. Today is day 7 of a water fast, right? So accepting where you are and accepting that this is okay. I'm okay with me. I'm happy with me as I am. But that doesn't mean that I'm not going to work towards changing and healing and repairing. So 7 days of water, it's been hard. I'm not going to lie. The last 2 days, a little hard, and some emotional stuff coming up. So I'm having to play with my oils over that. So understanding acceptance isn't going, oh, it is what it is. I'm just going to be this way forever. Acceptance is about having the feelings of being able to be happy with me on the journey, right? As we go along the road, being happy and okay with me, being happy and okay. I can't change people. I've got relatives who I love and adore, and the decisions that they make can make me want to pound my head. But I have to be accepting of who they are while I'm seeing a better vision for who they can become, right? So it's learning to have that moment. Then dream catcher. I love dream catcher because I think for some people that don't know where they're going, don't know what they want out of life, when I tell people, let's work on your goals, let's figure out what you're going to do, and that is health goals, physical goals, financial goals, spiritual goals, you name it, in all those areas, and they just don't know. So just write down, what would life be like? What would you like it? And some people, they just don't, there's nothing there. What I like about Dreamcatcher is it helps them create that dream. It helps them remember. Dreamcatcher and inner child together are amazing because it helps you remember who and what you wanted to be. So maybe you don't want to be an astronaut anymore, but you definitely wanted more than toilet bowl scrubber, which is what I was. I didn't want to be a toilet bowl scrubber for the rest of my life, right? I wanted more than that. Dreamcatcher helps you identify what those dreams are so that you can start moving towards them, so you can see and speak those into existence. It's amazing. It also helps you to be able to hold on to a dream. So you have a dream and it seems insurmountable. Royal Crown Diamond, right? You're wanting Royal Crown Diamond, and when you just think about it, sometimes you're like, it's just so big, it's never going to happen. Well, Dream Capture helps you picture that, identify that, and every single time you smell that oil, it reminds you of what it feels like. Oh,